Hi, and welcome to Podcast Heroes. We're on week 5 now. We're your host, Billy.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're missing Bentley today. What's he up to? Do you know?
He's stuck at work right now.
Well, that poor devil.
We had to do this a day late.
Yeah. Well, that's my fault for playing Dungeons and Dragons yesterday, so I do apologize.
Mm-hmm. No excuses.
No, there is an excuse, because Dungeons and Dragons is amazing. Don't hate. So it'll just be the two of us today, busting out the news. We got a couple of exciting events to kind of talk about this week, especially the fact that in one more week, we got the launch date.
June 2nd. Now, June 1st, there's a launch party.
Yes, there is. Blizzard's hosting a launch party in London. It's happening 8:30 London time. For those of you who are not math wizards, that's 5-hour difference on the East Coast, so that would mean 3:30, 2:30 for those of us in Central Time Standard, and then we got the Pacific Time. That's another 2 hours off, so that'd be 12:30.
All right.
It's all being streamed online on Blizzard's or on heroesofthestorm.com. And
it's gonna be awesome.
You can watch it. It looks like they got a great lineup of hosts. They got a great lineup of performances going on.
I think that the hosts are the lead 3D artists for the game.
Are they?
And I know Dustin Browder,
yeah,
the game developer, talked about it. I think it's going to be a really cool event.
It should be a good time. And regardless, it ends in the game launching, which is really what we're all looking forward to.
Right. Getting those noobs in here and enjoying their company and dying many times. Because
hopefully using them to propel ourselves towards the top 10
They claim that the Siege Camp is worthless.
Those crazy kids. Got a couple of other exciting things. Of course, there's the free week for this week. We got a couple of opinions we want to talk about. We got a Nova build that you're going to highlight for us.
That's right. Nova is OP, and people who underestimate her are crazy.
And then we got, finally, our Watch Us Climb.
Man, that was really good this week.
Yeah, that was... Okay, so it was our first time playing Team League.
Yeah, we finally got a team together.
Because we all had all 40s for once.
And we had 2 games in a row where we just stomped. First one, I think that the team was just bad. And the second one, the team, they were really good, and that's why it felt so good to take them down. It was in Haunted Mines, and we'll get into it a little bit more later.
We will. It was, it was one of those last minute bum rush the core lose kind of games, and those to me are the best kind of games to be able to play in, because they're just so exciting the entire time. Like, especially if everybody's keeping a cool head, everybody's having a good time with the game. It's a lot of fun to play those games when everybody involved, all 10 players, are just quality players. Mm-hmm. And it really helps you fail your test. Because that first game we played, it was pretty much a stomp.
That team, I don't know. I don't think that they were very serious.
Yeah, we were playing in Dragonshire. And that's not even, a map that all of us are even that good at. Mm-hmm. But, we just went to town on them from moment one, and they didn't even get a single dragon all game. And I don't think they even took down one of our outer forts, or maybe if they did, they only took down one.
I don't remember.
We went from that game into this game against just people that were equal skill to us, and it was awesome. It was a great time. So that's something we're going to talk about later and Watch Us Climb. So first, let's break down the news. Of course, we've already talked about the launch event. Again, for a time frame reference, it's 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, all being streamed live. The game is dropping that week, June 2nd.
And with it, Johanna is launching.
Johanna. I'm so excited. I'm still saving up for her because I'm really terrible about doing my quest.
I still don't have KT.
Well, you know me, I'm assassin. So.
And I'm sorry, listeners. Bentley promised you a KT build last week, and we're not going to follow through. He's not here, and I don't play KT or Kael'thas, so I'm bringing you a Nova build.
Doing the Nova build. Honestly, I think I'd rather have a good Nova on my team than a good KT. But that's just my own personal opinion. It really does depend.
That living bomb is so strong right now because people don't know to get
off.
out.
Absolutely. But, again, the Nova build you're going to highlight is just so overpowered right now. It's almost game-changing, and that's That's a lot of fun
It's
to watch.
definitely game changing.
But let's talk about the really big news. BlizzCon is coming up in November, and Blizzard just announced a world championship already.
Not only did they announce the world championship, they're bringing it home. They've put into this $1.2 million, and you know that's only going to go up. I would say probably to $1.5 million worth of sponsorship.
Yeah.
Because
prizes,
teams are going to be sponsored just to participate.
Absolutely.
Even when we were just a small team, back in the very beginning of the game Terra, which just got added to Steam, it was not hard to get sponsored. And I think with a game this new, it's going to be, I've heard of people getting sponsored left and right.
Especially with, it got pretty good reception on ESPN2. It showed that it could be broadcasted on a major sports network. Unlike League of Legends, unlike Dota 2, because of how long those games last, I can see not just video game companies getting involved. I can see things like Coca-Cola, Red Bull. I can see, it's like those things that we normally see sponsoring other live sporting events. I could see them getting involved with.
Even
Euros.
Like 5 Hour Energy, the people who sponsor Penny Arcade events and PAX and all the conventions, those are like the top people there. Is 5 Hour Energy. Lots of little companies like that. Even there was a car company there.
Yeah, so be fun to see, how the prize pool goes. As Aaron said, it's 1.2 million prize pool. What that encompasses is the World Championship, which will hand out $500,000 in prizes, and then the remainder, what is that? If I'm doing the math right, 700,000 will be dispersed during regional competitions. The top 8 teams in the world that come out of these regional competitions, which will be representations of America, Europe, China, Korea, Taiwan, and I think they're doing like South America, they're doing like Southeast Asia, as well as, just Asia proper. That's kind of how they're, breaking down all the different regions. All of them will get a prize, and then those top teams from those regions will come and compete against each other.
I've heard speculation that the prizes per regional event are going to be around $18,000. But with the $600,000 limit for the regional events, and there only being, 6 or 7 events, that's like more like $100,000 in total prizes.
Yeah,
so that seemed... I would really be happy to see if just for participating, you get a skin or an icon or something that shows that you participated in that community.
Absolutely. The grand prize, dollar prize right now, is $200,000.
Okay.
That's just the monetary prize. Of course, there could be other things.
That's $40,000 a person.
That's $40,000 a person. That's pretty huge. It's pretty, not bad.
I would take it.
I'd take $10,000 personally, but
that's $500.
Right, exactly. Speaking of which, if you are interested in competing in the regional tournaments, Blizzard will be posting on their website. They didn't exactly say when. They just said be on the lookout for it. About information on how to get involved in your regional tournaments. Of course, for us in America, that's at www.heroesofthestorm.com. Just watch the website. They didn't promise when it'll be coming out or anything like that, so we don't want you, blaming us if it doesn't come out in the next 2 days. It'll get there. Keep an eye out. Follow them on Twitter. Follow them on Facebook. Just keep an eye out on social media. They'll let you know.
And if you're the kind of person who wants to be in the competitive scene, if you've got a team... shoot us an email at niceguysnetwork@gmail.com. If we can get 10 teams together, we would love to host our own competition.
Yeah, just kind of, our own little amateur circuit kind of thing going on. Just for fun. It wouldn't be anything serious. Probably...
Maybe get some action figures, some amiibos, or some skins as rewards.
Well, look, let us know. niceguysnetwork@gmail.com if you didn't already say that. Throw us an email. We'll see what we can do to get everybody going and have some friendly competition. And of course, we'll be streaming that on our Twitch page. We got twitch.tv/niceguysnetwork. Watch our streams, watch for them to come up. You can also look at our Facebook page. We'll post links to that in our descriptions below. And that'll, be a great way for us to communicate to you and get all the news out as it comes out until we get a website up and running, which...
Right. All right, Billy, I know my favorite top 5 pick out of the free week this week. Do you know yours?
Well, let's talk about the free week first.
Okay.
Let's break down who all is in it. We got Arthas, Illidan, Tyrande, Vala, Malfurion, Stitches, and Zagara. I'm not a fan of this free week. It might be because I own all but one of these champions.
I own most of these champions too.
But it feels like these are the cheaper champions that are just easy to buy. like 2,000 gold, 5,000 gold, or whatever the breakdown is. I feel like these are champions that are easy to get a hold of, and I want to be playing the champions that I don't get to see every day, personally. But overall, I think champion-wise, strengths and whatnot, it all complements each other. It's a good, well-rounded free week, to be certain.
I think there's some good people. I think you're right. It does kind of look, just from looking right at it, like, oh, wow, those are all the cheap champions. But I don't think that they're all necessarily cheap in the sense that they're bad.
No, absolutely not. All right, give me your top 5 out of this. Who would you, if you were putting together the dream team, who is your dream team?
Man, it's a really tough call for me between Arthas and Stitches. But I think I would go with Arthas, Tyrande, Vala, Zagara, and Illidan.
I agree with you on 4 of those 5.
Right,
I love Arthas because his CC is great. And Tyrande I've just been on fire with lately. I think she's the best support in the game. For me, I know there's arguments over whatever, but for me as a player, if I'm going to play support, I'm picking Tyrande. Vala, deadly assassin, hard to escape from, hard to lock down. Illidan, who you can't run away from and will kill you. I agree on all of those. I would substitute out Zagara for Malfurion. I know when we had our first week of podcast, one of the subjects we talked about is, do you need 2 supports or not? I think in this case, a Tyrande Malfurion combination is an incredibly good combination. Tyrande does stupid amounts of damage when she's built for it. Starfall is crazy great for crowd control in a team fight, as well as her E, Lunar Flare. And Malfurion on top of that can throw down roots. I mean, we're looking at 3 different CCs that are easy to hit.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you get vulnerability from Tyrande. And Malfurion has pretty good heal with his hot over time, whereas Tyrande can do that burst heal. It's just, I believe they complement each other. Where Tyrande falls off, Malfurion picks up. And putting those 2 in there substitutes out. I know Zagara does tons of damage. She's great at taking camps. But I think putting those 2 together takes away the con of not having Zagara in your group.
I think that if taking all 4 of them and Malfurion instead of Zagara leaves you pretty squishy. And I think Zagara is one of those champions that even if an Illidan tries to take her down, she's just going to summon a ton of beasts and he's going to have to leave her alone. But with Malfurion, you're right. I think that he might be able to heal through it. It'll be interesting to see. I'm sure that there will be a lot of those matchups this week.
Yeah, I think we should keep our eye out for it and see what happens. I love running 2 supports, though. I think that's a great...
I know you love 2 supports.
Because, I'm a big warrior player, so anything to keep me alive longer. Big fan of. So that's our, top 5 out of this free week. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. What are your, what would your team be? Would you rather have Stitches than Arthas, and why? Just let's get some, discussion started, and let's see what happens. All right, we got a couple of discussion topics here. The first one I want to hit you with is the Blizzard servers. When open beta dropped, what was it, last week or the week before, there were huge connectivity issues. At least for me, I know a previous guest host, Kyle, has a lot of them. It still is having some problems with it. I've hit it in game with other allies, and from the way I've seen some enemies play, I know they're having lag issues because at the rank I'm at, they're not that bad.
Yeah.
What do you think? And I'm sure it's Blizzard side of things because it's definitely not me. And with how much it's happening, it's got to be Blizzard. Do you think Blizzard will be able to pick it up?
I don't know a lot about Blizzard's infrastructure as far as their server setup, but I have a lot of confidence in Blizzard. They're the company that created World of Warcraft, and that could arguably be called one of the most server-intensive feats in gaming that has ever been accomplished. I think that they're going to be fine. I haven't been having a ton of issues. Now, on that topic, I guess I have a really good computer, and I have reliable internet connection most of the time. I think that a lot of people get local and regional connectivity issues confused with company server issues. And that's not to say that they don't have their problems, because I know that they do. But with the short open beta, it's so short. It's isn't it less than a month?
Yeah, it's less than a month long.
They were not trying to do any testing at this point. There's 11 million created accounts. They know the intensity.
Well, and it's, I mean, like you said, it's Blizzard. After
I know
World
you're
of Warcraft,
a fanboy.
After Hearthstone, after Diablo, all these games, like, they haven't made many mistakes, and when they have, we think it's such a big deal because we're not used to it from Blizzard, and they fix them.
It's notable.
So
it's notable to say that Blizzard was the creators of BattleNet,
right?
And that's like the original. Well, maybe not the original, but one of the original group making server systems that existed.
Absolutely, they've always done a great job. I love World of Warcraft. I've always been playing it. I've never had huge beef with them. I know I've run into server issues, on World of Warcraft before, but any of those issues were generally fixed, or there was an alternative for me to turn to if it was causing too much issue. I could just go to another server and play, and all that kind of stuff. So
it will be interesting to see if they adapt their server style. I know that League of Legends has dedicated servers for specific events.
Right.
Or they kind of dial back, they adjust the flow of things, I guess, so that their ranked games are not disturbed.
Right.
Particularly in live events, they take extra measures to ensure that nothing goes wrong.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure the Blizzard does that too. I think it took 3 people working on the Heroes of the Dorm competition just to get the screen displayed. 3 people viewing and changing the map simultaneously so that it was smooth for the main viewer.
Right. Yeah, the cameramen doing their work there. I have faith. So hopefully, I'm hesitant to say it'll be perfect on opening day. I don't think anything goes flawlessly on any opening day of any event, but I think it'll go well.
I think that on opening day we're all going to lose every game that we play, and it's going to be terrible.
Even the enemy team.
Even
your team and the enemy teams will just lose.
We're going to draw. Our cores are just going to explode instantaneously.
It's true.
And the golden lion mounts will rule the earth.
It's very true. All right. Well, if you have any opinions on that, of course, you know the drill. Leave us a comment. Let us know. Let's talk about some meta real quick, though. On our Facebook page, we posted a question of what do people want to hear about this week in our podcast, and one of the responses we got was positioning. Positioning, and my assumption of this was positioning in team fights, learning where to put yourself in order to best apply your skill set towards the game. On top of that goes body blocking, which is huge in this game. I've never played a game where body blocking is more important than this one right here, because it can really make or break a team fight. So let's get your views real quick. If somebody says positioning to you, what comes to mind?
Body blocking. Body blocking, overextending. Why are you taking their siege camp 2 minutes in? A lot comes to mind, but the main thing that comes to mind, and I think I've mentioned it before in a different, maybe the second podcast, I had a game where a Tyrande ran down and around the bushes while I went straight into the bushes at the top lane, just sitting right centered between the 2 gates, and the Tyrande came around behind me, and so that I couldn't see her, then emerged from the other side from closer to my gate, so that when I turned around toward her, she's body blocking me. And then Arthas comes at me on his mount from the other side, Howling Fjord. I'm stuck. She gets right up against me, and then he ends up right on the side. And regardless how many times I clicked toward my gate, I was not going to backtrack to then go forward.
Right.
So I got killed, and I just sat there thinking, well, I totally deserved that.
Just got outplayed. I'm with you. When positioning comes to mind, I instantly think of team fights and where the different roles should be ending up. Of course, warriors should always be in the front because that's where the brunt of the damage ends up going. So that's where they should be to soak it all. And then in my thought, I believe supports and specialists should be behind them, with assassins as far away as they can get while still able to apply damage. I've always been of the school of thought in any MOBA ever that you don't necessarily have to prioritize a certain person. I think if the Illidan, is like wrecking stuff, then yeah, sure, go for the Illidan, go for the Brightwing or whatever. But after a certain point, once the team fight initiates, it shouldn't be, okay, everybody hit Illidan. It should be, okay, everybody hit who you can hit. Because it's better to soften them up than it is to try and dive forward with your assassins in order to get them in range of hitting the target that everybody wants to prioritize. If your tanks are doing their job, if your support is doing their job, they should live through any initial burst that is provided by the most powerful person on the other team, giving your assassins time to apply the damage they need to apply to whatever target, X target.
I think you're definitely on point when you say like getting those pokes in, getting those trades in where you can. But I think definitely some focus can bring a lot to a team, particularly when you think about a Diablo grabbing somebody out of a group of 5. They say, this is who we will kill.
Right.
And they throw them down, and then they kick them back.
Right.
And then they blow up.
Well, my counterpoint to that, though, is that I think people quickly get team fights confused with picks. That's a pick. In my mind, a Diablo making a good grab and shoving an enemy towards your team is a pick. It's not a team fight. I think an enemy Illidan diving on your back line as fast as he can, that becomes a pick, because then he's out of position from the rest of his team. I think if two teams are positioning correctly, though, what should be happening is the damage goes on who you hit, who you can hit. It'd be great if your assassins, if you're 2 assassins, or one assassin and specialist, or whatever your combination is, if they can be communicative enough to hit the same target, because they should be able to reach the same target at any given point. But I think it's more important in a team fight to deliver the blows you can instead of trying to deliver the blows you want to blow, because it's worse for your assassin to be standing right next to your tank and have him get picked out by the enemy team than it is for your assassin to stay alive an extra 30 seconds just dealing damage to a tank.
I think that it all depends on your role in the fight. Because if you're a Nova, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but that basically means that your main job is to invisibly surround the weakest unit and erase them from existence.
And absolutely, each character has their different role. And that's the important thing to consider. True assassins, like when the image that conjures in your head when the word said assassin, it's like Zeratul, Nova, Illidan, the kind that are able to get behind the enemy lines very easily. Those are true assassins. Those are the ones that should be going for squishy targets. I'm talking about the Jaina's. I'm talking about the Kael'thas's. I'm talking about, the other mage type assassins in this game who are so squishy and don't have easy escapes. I see all too often them walking up to the front lines to stand next to me as the tank.
I feel like
getting blown up.
The message is recognize what role you're in. If you're Jaina, doesn't matter how good of an opportunity it is, you really probably should not initiate the fight.
Right. Absolutely. So that's positioning to me, but body blocking, I love it. It's so much fun. I love playing the characters that can do it well.
It is so frustrating when there's 3 people surrounding you and you're just sitting there like, what the hell?
Just let me leave. Well, and I love taking any ability that increases my ability to body block. Case in point, Tyrell's blocking field, level 16. I think it's one of the best talents in the game, and I love taking it because it makes me 5 times my size when it comes to blocking someone's pathing. Now, if anybody needs helps, hints, tips, whatever on body blocking, I'm more than happy to give a lesson because I feel like I'm pretty good at it. I do it pretty well. The real key to it, though, is using attack move. I have it defaulted to shift right click on my screen. I don't know. I think it's like shift A defaulted or whatever. But essentially what it does is it lets you click on a point in the map, and instead of moving to that point, it'll just attack the nearest target. And so you juggle that along with your movement. So you're using your movement to physically block, where I see a lot of people going wrong is the fact that they'll go back and try to click on the character they're attacking while also blocking them, and then they'll accidentally misclick, they'll click on the map and move out of the character's way. So the key there is to use your your attack move. It'll attack the target, and then you immediately, right after the attack move, do another right click on the screen to move to where you want to go to continue to block.
That's a very good advice. If you want to be a better player and you're unsure about how to get better from where you are right now, taking a minute to recognize that you don't know what attack move click does is a big step in the right direction.
Right.
Because I acknowledge that I am not good at it because I don't like it, because I don't think about it.
Right.
And now if I got more in the habit, then I would. And
right.
and that's exactly what I need to do.
So there you go. That's our meta discussion for this week. If you have any more questions, let us know. I think we covered it pretty well. I think we could go more in depth about it if our viewers want to.
There's proof. We'll answer your questions if you ask them.
We'll answer your questions. So let us know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about that. All right, let's talk Nova.
All right, I'm ready for this. Nova is so strong. If you have not played her, sell everything that you own and get the 10,000 gold so that you can get her. I'm gonna walk through the build that I take with Nova, which there are lots of varieties of the decoy duplicate build, but this is my version of it. I don't know if it's the most popular, but it's definitely gaining popularity right now.
Well, and I mean, I've never always been sold on Nova. I think they're more reliable assassins, but watching you play this build has almost convinced me that, okay, Nova can work.
I'm very confident in my ability to take down almost any champion in a matter of seconds, including like a Nubarak.
Right.
And this build is specifically geared toward Sky Temple or Dragon Knight because those maps lend themselves to forcing teammates to split from other teammates.
Absolutely.
So I stumble upon a Nubarak alone top fighting the Temple Guardians. I get in position, fire off, he's gone. Okay. So at level 1, I take Ambush Snipe. It's increased snipe damage by 20% when used from cloak or within 1 second of being cloaked. Doesn't sound initially like it's that strong, but when 80% of your burst happens within that 1 second, it is a big deal. A lot of people take Psyop Rangefinder. They want the additional range and lowered cooldown. I don't find that I need that because the invisibility grants me the ability to get as close as I need. Level 4, I take Gathering Power, the increased ability power. I see people take Remote Delivery with the reduced cooldown and increased range on your decoy.
Okay.
And it's definitely good. I think Gathering Power, it lends itself better to this build.
Well, I've always found myself just taking Gathering Power on anyone who can get it because it just
strong for every move,
and it helps so much during the late game. So
at level 7, I go with the anti-armor shells. That's the one that you attack, I think, twice as slow or something, but you do 250% damage. But it's really worth it. Because it's easy to get one shot in on somebody, but if that shot does 70 damage, it's not going to help. But if it does 250 damage, it's going to do something.
It's magic.
Not only that, but then when you spawn decoys later in the game, they have increased damage. At level 10, it really is situational. If there's a lot of squish champions that you know that, you're just going to be able to triple tap them to death immediately, go ahead and take it. I usually take Precision Strike, particularly on those maps that we're playing on because of their size. And sometimes with the 50-second cooldown, wasting your Precision Strike on a giant group of minions is not the worst idea.
Oh, certainly if it's giving you extra experience or if it's preventing a push.
And that's it. You don't have to be near it. If you Precision Strike, everything in that circle you get experience for.
Right. Which
is worth knowing. At 13, very obvious decision. Take a lethal decoy. You have to. It makes your decoys deal 25% of Nova's damage. So then at 16, you take double fake, create an additional hollow decoy that also deals 25% of your damage, which is tripled almost by your earlier ability.
The anti-armor shells.
Mm-hmm. So that's almost like 500% increase in your damage just through these abilities. And then you do not take what you would think you'd take, which would be the upgrade of your ult, either fast reload, which is where it resets on hero kills, which if you haven't taken it, just take it, because that's really fun.
It is
to
fun.
snipe out the entire enemy team. But it's not very reliable, and it's pretty situational. And Precision Barrage can be useful, but Rewind is the best.
Mm-hmm.
It enables you to not only burst down about 600 to 800 damage with your abilities immediately, but then you have 5 decoys dealing 25% of your damage and yourself.
Well, 4 decoys and
sorry, 4 decoys and yourself. So 5 total. I've never seen anybody get away who is not a strong tank with some escape.
Mm-hmm.
Even a Nubarak who's got some escape, I've got it down to an art.
All right.
It's a strong build.
I mean, and I've seen you play it, and it's convinced me to like Nova a lot more. I mean, I love the idea of rewinding, to be able to get, what's their snipe? Snipe ability. Being able to get that twice in a row, because that alone, just 2 of those could kill a squishy
A Vala
target.
could kill a Jaina, could kill a Kael'thas.
If you manage to nail
and
both of them.
Rewind's cooldown is not so severe.
It's not.
Really, it's about the time as, I go up to top lane, take out Kael'thas immediately, then I head down to bot lane, and by the time I'm there, everything is ready.
Yeah, it's only a 60-second cooldown. It's 1 minute. It's just like, a healing ward or any of those other active abilities, like the blink. What is it called? Bolt. Any of those are just like 1 minute cooldowns, and really 1 minute just isn't that much at all. So, I like it.
Now, Bolt of the Storm is also available on Nova, and I've seen some people take it and do some pretty amazing things. I think that it is a huge missed opportunity.
I think the other 3 are better, but I could see Bolt of the Storm coming in if you have a habit of getting caught, or if their team has a lot of divers and you just need to be able to get out. Because, my belief just always is, it's better to stay alive and deal less damage than it is to deal tons of damage but die before you can deal it. All right. Yeah, that's our Nova build. I like it.
Try it out. It's really fun.
But what's going to hurt, right? So
that's one of the characters with that specific build that when I play it and I take kill after kill after kill, it just feels really good.
Feels good. All right. Well, let's talk about some Watch Us Climb.
We're amazing.
Team League. Nice Guys Network has their own team league now.
Come play with us.
Please do. We are always looking for some other players, or worst case, we can always just make a new team. It's only 500 gold to make a team, so that's 1-2 daily quest. No big deal at all. Who have we been playing with? So we've got the staples: me, you, Kyle. Are those 3? Bentley missed out on the 2 games we've played.
Nice Guy Colin.
Colin, who's been mentioned a few times.
Unable to make it to this podcast.
And then we got another kid named Justin, who's been a lot of fun to play with. I've really enjoyed it because he has a great attitude whenever I'm on, comms with him. He's it's like
makes me laugh.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
And that's what this game is all about. And we all just we played really good, solid games.
Not only that, but it's nice to have Justin who alleviates some tension because at least 3 of the 5 of us are pretty strong personalities, particularly when it comes to playing video games.
Yeah,
we want to win, we want to do well, and sometimes we let it
get in the way
affect
of
us emotionally.
Absolutely.
And definitely don't let yourself go on tilt. This is a game. It's meant to have fun. If you're not having fun with it, you need to stop for the night.
Yeah, it's time to pick up a different game at that point. All right, so we were on Haunted Mines. This was our second game. We played 2 games of Team League. This was our second game. As we said earlier, the first game was a blowout, so we're going to just completely ignore that one because for all we know, it was a bunch of 12-year-olds we were playing against. It could have been a total fluke.
Hey, don't insult 12-year-olds. Maybe they're amazing.
That's true.
But these ones were not.
No, these were pretty terrible. But this was on Haunted Mines. It didn't go well for us at first, did it?
It wasn't bad. We were trying really hard, but we consistently we're coming up just short. I think we didn't have a single majority on the golems
until the very last
golem.
Yeah.
They were 60 or 70, and we were 30 or 40.
Right.
And we could barely keep up. They just had a stronger, better team in team fights.
And especially in early game team fights.
But we did a good job of recognizing when we just totally missed the opportunities and moving on. For example, the first and second golems, we got our 30 or 32, and then we just said, all right, get out. We're not going to win this. Yeah. Too many are dead.
We got to get bruisers.
Just get the bruisers and take our loss. Now, so by getting the bruisers and securing the camps, we made it so that they couldn't get them. Which to me is half of the value of the camps.
Yeah.
And you know that the enemy isn't going to get it.
Well, and something I think that helped us out, I know you're a huge fan of immediately getting the bruisers on Haunted Mines. I'd provide a counterpoint to that, and I think that's what helped us win this game. I think you get the enemy siege camp first. That's a camp that they have total control of if they're on the map and they're not terrible at the game. So if they're down there fighting, the final boss in the mines, or sweeping up, just cleaning up everything, if you're able to get their siege camp and then go to bruisers, worst case is that you're able to escape from bruisers with your life while giving up bruisers. Whereas their siege camp, if you go to their siege camp after you get bruisers, which I know we've done a few times on Hero League and other things like that, if they come and catch you, there's no escape. You're not getting out. So I think that's something that really helped us turn, because me and Kyle were able to get the enemy siege camp a few times while they were still down in the mines cleaning up, and just that little bit of extra damage from them siege monsters really can help carry the game.
Definitely. That's a good point. I think siege camps are hugely important, but I think it's situational. I think in the situation you were describing where we've given up, we have 30, we're going to lose this, just let them have it. They're down there. We know they're down there. We're still up. Of course, the right decision is to grab the siege camp before we get the bruisers, because we have time.
Because we know where they are.
More often, it seems that there's, one dead on our team, 2 dead on their team. We were both just fighting it out at boss. The boss is done now, and we're both leaving the mines at the same time. It's probably not a safe decision to go to their siege camp knowing that they're gone.
I do agree with
somewhere.
That. I do agree with that.
But you need to secure the bruiser camp. So I think it's just situational. It depends on who you've got.
So we'll justify it. If you have knowledge of the team and they're in mines, get their siege camp. If you don't know where they are, if you're unsure,
and then rush the bruiser. Don't ignore the bruiser, but prioritize.
Prioritize the bruiser. All right, let's talk about the team compositions that we were doing here. The enemy team was Avala, Thrall, and Illidan, which, right away, just saying those 3 names should strike fear in your heart, because those are some pretty hefty damage.
Strong champions.
And then they had a Muradin as their tank and an Uther as their support. So they had a solid front line in the form of Uther and Muradin, with 2 great melee assassins in the form of Thrall and Illidan. And anyone who's played against a good Vala knows how much they hate their life when they're playing against a good Vala. And this team screams early game to me.
All right, I'll call out our team, and I'll go ahead and tell you, I did not think we had enough damage from the beginning. It was Sylvanas, Jaina, Rhaegar, Tyrande, and ETC. And again, those first 3, when you hear Sylvanas, Jaina, Rhaegar, you're thinking, oh crap.
Yeah, it's
like we're dead.
Yeah.
No, but then we came in with the Tyrande, and I know you were debating taking more damage or going with that Tyrande.
Yeah.
And you called for the Tyrande, and it ended up being the right decision. Despite us being unable to win any team fights because we didn't have the damage to take them down.
Right. And to justify real quick what's going on, I know I usually play the Warriors here. I ended up playing Tyrande because Justin wanted to take ETC, and he did a fabulous job playing ETC that game.
We all did good.
But yeah, like you said, we lacked damage early game, which did hurt us. I didn't think it would hurt us that much, but it hurt us a lot more than I expected. Luckily, though, once you hit that 20-minute mark and you have 2 supports, you're almost unstoppable.
Not only that, but knowing that we had 2 supports and knowing the build, I know the build that you tend to go. I adapted my build. I went full lightning shield.
Because you played Rhaegar.
I played Rhaegar. I went full lightning shield and ended up with just as much damage as Jaina.
Right.
Because you can do a ton. You can have 3 lightning shields out at the same time if you get the right talent.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not a knock on Jaina at all. Colin is an amazing Jaina player. He's one of the best I've ever seen.
Oh, no, he was doing good.
Yeah, he's on point with all those shots.
His siege was definitely higher than mine.
Yeah, I think he had... No, I'm sure Sylvanas had the highest siege in the game,
and we'll definitely upload this game because there was a moment where Colin, Jaina, literally was the cause of us winning the game.
Absolutely.
Because of the placement of his Blizzard right in the center of 3 people, and all 3 waves hit. And when all 3 waves hit anyone, they're probably dead.
They're
even if it's an
health.
ETC.
Right.
And I think it was Uther and Muradin and Illidan.
Right.
And it was total wreckage.
I mean, yeah, it was huge because it hit those and they stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the key. And Justin, ETC play was on point. Kyle was playing Sylvanas.
Great Sylvanas. He's really found
really
his
good.
place.
I think one of the things that hurt us in this game, early game, though, was we made the mistake. So in Haunted Minds, the general meta is you send 1 person in 1 lane, which is the lane that your golem is not pushing, and you send 4 to the lane that your golem does push. We sent Kyle, Sylvanas, to the solo lane. And in hindsight, I think we should have sent Jaina.
I don't disagree, but I don't think Jaina would have been the right choice.
Well, my reasoning here is Jaina has better wave clear than Sylvanas, and Sylvanas does, without a doubt in my mind, does more siege damage than Jaina ever will. And so you think about it like this: you put Sylvanas in with 3 other people, so you got the 2 supports and you got the tank, and you guys shove that lane and get it so Sylvanas can start hitting the towers instead of wasting her skills being the one pushed to towers. It'll give you a huge advantage on siege damage.
I definitely agree. Sylvanas is one of those people. You want your specialist, your main pusher, to be pushing.
Right.
Because that's what they do. I think that Jaina still would have been a bad choice because even behind walls, she is extremely squishy and vulnerable to people like Thrall and Illidan, who could almost just take her down immediately.
Yeah.
Especially because... But their mistake was that they had 3... pushing and 2 defending.
2 defending, absolutely right.
And we were able to push away there 2 fine, just as easily as we could push away 1.
Uh-huh.
It really had no bearing on it at all, but they wasted an opportunity where they could have been pushing harder.
Uh-huh. So, overall, you could definitely tell we're not a top-tier team just yet. We still got some room for improvement.
Well, that's up for debate. We're the world's greatest.
We're undefeated. 2 games undefeated. I see this going nowhere but up, right? But I think that shows mistakes.
We're better than everyone except for you because you're awesome.
there you go. But it just shows the key there is to learn from your mistakes. Learn, adjust, adapt, and shot calling. If you're playing Team League, you need to be on comms with everybody else. Everybody else needs to be willing to talk. Because our shot calling at the end of the game, at first I think we fumbled it a little bit, but at the end of the game, we were on point.
I'll say I thought from the beginning we were on point with the calls. We just weren't predicting, and we didn't have a good early game team.
Fair enough.
We weren't predicting. We didn't call get into the mines right now at 30 seconds. We called it at 15.
Right.
And we needed to be more coordinated because people were doing other things. But what made our team successful was that even when we made a call that maybe wasn't the best call for the situation in hindsight, all 5 of the people committed to that plan.
Right.
And it didn't matter that it was unconventional for us to just abandon the mines and go defend when they pop up. But that's what won us the game, is the mines popped up, and Sylvanas was in place and prepared, and we had a really strong feeling that they were going to backdoor, and you made the call. You said, just get to the base, forget the mines, let them have it. And our Sylvanas was able to take 70 skulls
by herself
before she came back to help defend. We aced them, sent 2 into the mines to pick up the boss, got 100 golem, and we're able to continue defending until we sweep them with that 100 golem.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that is what won us the game. Sylvanas was in a position to go into the mines alone, completely alone. Out of all 10 players on that map, she was the only one in the mines because they tried to backdoor. Which, to be fair, if I was them, I would have called for the backdoor too. Because I would have assumed that the other team would have been going in for it. So we stopped, we stayed, we got a good team fight. Collins Blizzard blew them away. And that's what ended up winning us the game. We'll definitely try to get that uploaded for you guys to be able to watch. So keep an eye out for it.
Expect that probably this Saturday.
This Saturday, yeah, when we have a little bit more free time and aren't stuck at work all day.
And you'll be able to find that on our YouTube page.
YouTube page. We'll post links to it on our Facebook page. So just keep an eye out. Keep a look. So that concludes week 5 of Podcast Heroes. Been going strong. I'm pretty proud of us.
We're having a good time, and we hope that you are too.
Absolutely.
We really want to make this a great podcast and a great network, the Nice Guys Network. We want to create great content and have a lot of fun doing it. And I think that's what we're doing so far, and we're really enjoying it. So take us out, Billy.
Well, no, I wanted to interrupt you first. If you guys haven't had an opportunity yet, Kyle Fugazi has uploaded a couple of great Hearthstone videos. That's also on our Nice Guys Network channel. If there's any viewers out there that have strong opinions, feelings, or feel like they're good at a certain game and you want to help contribute some content to our website, we're more than happy to take you in. We'll watch you.
Come be a part of the Nice Guys Network.
Come be a part of the Nice Guys Network.
I know that in the future here coming soon, we're going to be having Exploding Kittens, the video edition of the game, uploaded onto the channel.
I'm so excited for that game.
You were one of the original funders of the game.
Yeah, I got in on the initial Kickstarter.
Within the first million or what?
Yeah, first million, yep.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
So what does that mean you're going to get?
For however much money I spend on it, I don't even remember now, but I get a full standalone deck, the full initial original deck, and I'm getting the full not safe for work deck.
Ooh.
Instead of just the booster pack. So
I'm excited for it.
I'll bring it over.
Subscribe to our channel and you'll be able to see it.
And we'll show you some Exploding Kittens. Shout out to the Oatmeal for that one.
All right, Billy, take us out.
All right, well, thank you for listening to Podcast Heroes, where we podcast about heroes.